I think he's a great guy.
What was his biggest achievement?
Brexit.
What about Brexit?
Done. Is it done?
Boris is one of the most entertaining people you could ever meet. He did well.
I think it's a pleasure to listen to him. I could listen to him for hours, and he's an amazing histrionic character, and it's definitely a personality.
As a GP who self-isolated because I had a medical condition, I was really annoyed about him. Extremely annoyed. But actually, as a politician, he did a lot of good for a lot of people. He got us on the right way. He got a lot of people voting Conservative who never would have done before because he had that common touch that people liked.
He was let down by not having someone strong to run his office and his comms. So, as Margaret Thatcher famously said, every PM needs a Willie. I think he lacked that support person, and it's a shame.
Well, I mean, I think his entire private life, for example, is what, and the whole business of the drinksgate business. The rules apply to you as much as they do to anyone else.
What would you say was his biggest achievement?
Brexit. Yeah. I mean, obviously that's controversial because lots of people don't like Brexit, but I think in the long run, I think now and historically, he'll be proved to have been right to have pursued Brexit. And
When do you think we'll start seeing a Brexit dividend?
Well, I think we already see a dividend in the sense that it's not. I mean, Brexit isn't about everything suddenly being better. It's about us being in control of what we do. So it may be that we pursue very similar paths to the paths that would have been pursued by the European Union. The point is that we can do it. We as a country can do it, and that we have a democratic accountability for the things that we do.
He has a lot of strengths, and he has some things on which he is not quite strong enough.
But yes, from the political point of view, he has caused some problems to the party, and again, there's no denying it, there's no hiding from this fact.
There's no doubt he was his own worst enemy, simply because he didn't believe the rules applied to him. In fact, it didn't even occur to him, I think, that the rules applied to him, and therefore that led to his downfall.
What could other politicians learn from Boris Johnson?
I think what they could learn from it is his sort of tigerish appeal. Just go down quite well with the public, but you also got to keep you've got to make sure that you're not behaving in a way which brings disrespect, basically.
I thought he did a good job for Brexit, but I'm a little bit unhappy about the way he seemed to break the rules, and I think he let the party down that way. So yeah.
What do you think Liz Truss could learn from him?
I think Boris Johnson was very charismatic, so more charismatic than Liz Truss. So yeah.
What could Liz Truss learn from Boris Johnson?
I think she has already started in this learning curve because, first of all, she's changing the culture on number 10, and she started a process of review of the way things work in that department. For example, asking people straight away to dress a little bit more professionally. I think it's a very good sign. It's a small one, but sometimes it's the little things that matter. It's a sign of a changing culture, and she's doing basically the same approach in every single department she has touched, and that's exactly what she's doing in government.
But yeah, I think overall, obviously, we've seen the issues that he did have, which ultimately let him down. But no, he overall he was a good PM.
What would you say those issues were?
Well, I think it's obvious the issues that everybody talks about, the Partygate and stuff like that. So, ultimately, I believe that when the change came, it was the right thing for the party, and we've got to move forward now for the sake of the country.
It's like what you think about Trump. Yeah, sometimes you have to swallow hard and put up with it. But it's how you interrelate with the world. You look at things and you think, what is the best way forward? And if somebody is, well, you just have to accept that the rough with the smooth sometimes, and accept that you agree with the basic philosophies and a lot of stuff that's going on, and you have to put up with who you've got. Life's like that. You don't always get on with the people you have to work with. I've done jobs where I didn't really like the people I work with, but you have to get on with it. And I'm not talking about my surgery, just in case they're all...
Because of the mistakes made by the government, the left is cohering around Keir Starmer. But I don't think you can just be not Tory in order to win the election. I think the Tories have to lose it, but Labour have to win it, and that's what happened under Blair. You know, Blair had all these policies and ideas, many of which were, you know, some of which were okay, and some of which were quite destructive. But I don't think Starmer and Labour have got to that point yet, and I also don't think people trust them because they look at the issues, you know, within that party, the difficulties within the party. But look, I may be wrong. You know, in 2 years' time, who knows? I mean, certainly they're in with a good shout because government's making mistakes, but they can't just be not Tory. They have to have their own ideas.
I think Liz has only been in the role for, you know, such a small amount of time, obviously, because of the sad passing of the late Queen Elizabeth as well. You know, we've got to give her time, and we've got to give the cabinet time now to forge their own ideas and move the country forward.
Why are you Conservative?
Well, I think it's the best party to deliver growth and jobs for the country. So, and I also have quite a high council tax bill to pay every month. So
my most conservative belief is most probably the centrality and the essentiality of family as the basic structure of society.
What does that look like?
Traditional family, marriage, kids, and support definitely from the institution to make a success of families and to allow families to express themselves in whichever way they want, with how many incomes they want to have and how many children they want to have, by demolishing each and every obstacle that is making this difficult.
What do you mean by traditional marriage?
Traditional marriage, for me, I'm a Roman Catholic, so obviously for me traditional marriage is the one that has a sacramental value, is celebrated in church and has a civil value. But obviously we know it's 2022, there are different declinations of marriage, but in terms of what marriage is from a society perspective, from a legal perspective, there are obligations and there are rights that come from the marriage being the union of man and wife in order to foster a continuation through children and an inheritance that goes through the generation of society. This is marriage, and this is what any society is actually founded upon.